Hello, everyone, and welcome to the audio edition of Mind, Body, Soul, a show and podcast about your mental, physical, and spiritual well being.
My next guest today tells us that money is very much about mindset. In theory, it's simple to have money, just spend less than you make, like weight loss, just eat less calories than you burn in a day. But why is it then that so many people have a hard time saving money or overcoming debt when the solution is so simple? Because there are a lot of emotions tied up in money, and until you sort out your emotions, your mindset around money will keep spinning in circles trying to get a handle on it. We all have debt, some more than others. My guest today posted on Facebook about paying off debt, and it went viral. One simple thing I did to pay over 10,000 plus dollars in debt. That's what my guest posted, that anyone can do, turned into using your mindset to help you overcome debt. A simple debt repayment method to help you pay down debt fast. It's as simple as the dollar a day method. My guest today is a wealth and abundance coach and founder of The Rich Woman. Since 2015, she's worked with hundreds of women entrepreneurs to help them create a loving relationship with money so they can massively increase their income and their impact. She's a self-proclaimed money manifesting master and known as the money godmother. As on a mission to help women across the world live their best ever, Rich Woman lives a life of financial freedom, fulfillment, and fun. Emily is a MBA graduate, NLP practitioner, that's neuro-linguistic programming for those who don't know, timeline therapist, and a trained intuitive energy healer. Welcome, Emily King.
Thank you. My dear, she sounds good.
So, Emily, just give our listeners some idea of what they can expect to hear from you today.
So we're going to be talking about something a little different than you're probably used to around money, because I think money, we think budget. How do I got to save? How do I got to penny pinch? Well, pennies don't exist anymore now, but you know what I mean? And the angle that I take on it, as you mentioned in the intro there, is the mindset component of it. Because like you said, I mean, it's basic math when it comes to saving money. Just spend less than you make.
Yeah.
So why is it that we have such a high, percentage of people in province, let alone the country, who just are flooded with debt and just can't seem to get out of it? And it's because there's a lot of emotions tied up to it. So we're going to be talking about the emotional mindset component to it. And yeah, the dollar a day method, debt repayment thing that just took off on my Facebook page like wildfire, that helped a lot of people.
And you're going to talk about that.
Yes.
And I'm sure you got some great stories to tell us, that people emailed you and told you how that simple method changed their life.
Yep.
Emily, you're the founder of The Rich Woman. Do you want to explain to those who are listening exactly what that is?
The Rich Woman. Yes. So I started coaching people back in 2015, and it became clear that I personally had this love for money mindset. I call it money mindset. And I was really good at it. And I really loved teaching people about it. So come 2016, I had this idea. What if I called my business The Rich Woman and helped people live rich lives in whatever ways, whatever, meaning that is for them? Because you can be rich with cars and mansions and whatever. You can be rich in just hanging out in nature. It's not, necessarily how much money you have in the bank account. So yeah, in 2016, I shifted to start this, or shift my name of my business to The Rich Woman, to really help people embrace, unapologetically what they want and desire in their lives, and just owning that and stepping into that. And be it, desires to travel more or make more money or give more, or whatever that looks like for them, but just really stepping into this rich life in all ways possible.
So when you say money is about mindset, what is it about mindset that creates that thing with money?
So Gary,
Tell me.
I'm sure we all heard sayings around money when we were growing up, like money doesn't grow on trees. Money is the root of all evil. All these very empowering things, hey? And so these are what I call money blocks. And essentially money blocks are any beliefs that we have that block us from growing the money in our lives. And so other money blocks might include you have to work hard to make good money. You have to work hard to make really good money. Rich people are greedy. Rich people are selfish. So if we have these beliefs about money that are negative, at a fundamental, like, psychological thing about humans is that we want to be loved, and we want to do anything in our right mind to avoid pain. So if we have an association that there's something negative associated with having money in our lives, be it it'll make us an evil person, and some people even fear, like, I've heard it from clients of, like, oh my God, the tax man's going to come after me then if I'm making too much money, or even like friends and family may, drop me because they think I'm too good for them or whatever. So you can imagine, as a human being trying to get by in this world and be loved and have friends and family that love you and care for you, if you have this belief that was instilled in you as a child that if I make more money, I'm a target, well then on a subconscious level, you're going to do anything in your power to essentially repel money. And so I've seen hundreds and hundreds of women over the years, and in particular, I work with women entrepreneurs who it just breaks my heart that to hear these money blocks that they have, and it's just stopping them from showing up in the world to their fullest capacity. So, for example, I worked with a woman who really wanted to get a yoga business up and running, but she had guilt about taking time for herself to do this. She had guilt about charging people for her services, because there's also this money block if it's not spiritual to be rich. If you have money, it means that. And if you're doing something good for the world, how dare you charge for that? You should just give it away.
Sometimes you hear things about people who write a book, and I hear people saying, well, how come she didn't donate part of the proceeds or all of the proceeds from that book to charity? People forget the fact that that happens to be that author's way of living and making money.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting, at least on my journey. One of the coolest things that I've discovered on my journey is that making money a very spiritual process has actually helped me make more money, which kind of goes against the grain. So what I mean by that is when I've gotten out of the lack scarcity mindset around money, that there's not enough, and if a client pays me for something, that's me taking money from someone, and how dare I? And when I got out of that mindset and realized when somebody actually pays me for my service, this is one of the most beneficial things I can do for them and myself. And in them doing this money exchange with me, this actually helps me grow and serve more people and get my message out to more people and reinvest in marketing, coaches, what have you, in ads to help me grow and share more and more message with people, and to provide me with an income so that I can live and have a roof over my head and inspire other people to, like I said earlier, just unapologetically do what they desire in this world. But so many, my business is called The Rich Woman, so I deal primarily with women, and so many women I see just hiding behind this wall of fear and lack of confidence, and can I really do this, and can I charge, and that's mean, and what will just all these blocks. And so that's why mindset is so huge when it comes to money.
And because it really becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, doesn't it, that you just set yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
I spoke at a business, and the guy came up to me and he said, Gary, I really like what you said. He said, I've always wanted to have a 1968 red convertible Mustang. He said, it's been my dream to have it. I said, well, go find a car you want, cut it up, put it on your fridge.
Yep.
And you look at that every single day, and you will figure out a way to get it, because that becomes your focus. Mm-hmm. And a year later, I bumped into him at the gym, and he said, Gary, guess what's parked in my driveway? A 1968 red Mustang convertible. I said, see, it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, there is a misconception with the whole manifesting principle, which is like some people hear of these things, right? And they just think, oh, if I just put up on my dream board or my vision board.
You have to do something to get it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
You got to do something. But it does, I have seen, and I've actually done workshops on vision boards, because it's just been insane how powerful they are, and how really, because when it does become your focus, what happens on a subconscious level, which I'm sure you know with the training you have, you start to, it's like the reticular activating system, right? You start to unconsciously just acknowledge, oh, that's an opportunity there, and that's something I can do that. And that's how essentially I've gotten to the life where I'm living now, where it's just freedom and fun, and I love my life. It might sound morbid, but if I died tomorrow, I would have no regrets. I'd be like, I lived a good old life. Now, universe, don't get any ideas.
Yeah.
But seriously, I just have this fantastic life, but it really has come from consciously choosing what I desire,
Being open to it.
being open to it, working on the blocks because even like me, I actually some people have shame around their desires. So what I mean by that is I don't mean to call my dad out here, poor dad here now, but one of the blocks that he told me when he was growing up that his dad told me if you have any money, don't show it. Never show people you got money. And so it kind of built up this like you can't have the really nice vacation, or you can't have the fancy car because that's bad. People look at you poorly. And it's kind of like, I really wanted a nice car, Gary. And, the fear came up of, will I be judged? And is she greedy? And look at, whatever. And look at her. Who does she think she is? But just like working on those blocks of like, it's okay for me to have this desire. It's okay for me, that friend of yours or the client or whatever with the convertible, right? Mm-hmm. It's okay to have that,
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
If it brings you joy, if it brings you fulfillment, in such a world where it can be so easy to go down the negative spiral, there's nothing better than someone, seeing somebody get a dream come true. And who are we to judge that?
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
If that makes him happy, then so be it. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
What should we do about these money blocks? How do we get rid of them or change them?
Okay. So
first,
first,
is that the biggest issue? Is it these blocks?
Yeah. And that's a big, if people are like, oh, I have this block of, money's evil or whatever it is for them, then yeah, how do we change it? Because we don't want to just be like, okay, this is my block now, live with it forever. So I'm going to just backtrack for 2 seconds and just kind of give it more framework behind these money blocks. So essentially, like you were saying earlier, they're self-fulfilling prophecies. And so it's kind of this cycle of at some point in our life. So the other thing you want to know about beliefs is at some point it started with a decision. Because when we were born, we didn't come straight out into the world thinking, oh, money's evil. Like, we had to learn it at some point
Absolutely.
in our lives.
So if you learn it, you can unlearn it, right?
Exactly. But the thing is, it seems very, very, very true for some people because it's a belief. And it might very well be true if you're saying, a very common block is there's never enough money. Just as I get ahead, or like one step forward, 2 steps back.
You hear a lot of people saying things like that. Just as I was starting to get ahead, life throws me a curveball and I'm right back to where I started from.
Exactly, yeah. So it might very well be true in your reality that, okay, you did get a bonus of $1,000 or whatever, and now your car just broke down and you got to spend $1,500 on your car, and you're like, great, right? But here's what happens is we have to like interrupt the pattern, if you will, around these beliefs. So if let's just say I have the belief of there's never enough. So understanding that was a decision at one point. Now understanding that there was a decision at one point on my end, and to no one's fault, right? We don't want to blame our parents or something. It's just kind of we're innocent in these decision-making processes. So it was a decision at one point, and then we go out into our world looking for evidence of it, unconsciously looking for evidence, right? Like the unexpected bill that comes up. And then what happens from this evidence that we're looking for, so to speak, we then reinforce the belief with, see, this happened. I got this bill.
I told you.
Yeah, I told you so, right?
Yeah.
Right? Of course, like I say that we use the sayings, of course, and this is crazy in the reverse way. We say, of course, when bad things happen, and we say, oh my God, the craziest thing happened when good things happen.
No one gets up in the morning and says, today is the day I'm going to prove myself wrong. We always want to prove ourselves right.
Yeah.
So when you have a belief, you search for evidence to prove yourself right.
Yeah. So it's how do we now change this? So the first step is awareness. That's why I say to all my clients, awareness is key. So when people come to me like, oh my God, like I've got this awareness now of like, I can never get ahead, or, me working in the entrepreneurial world, like, there's not enough clients or the economy's bad or whatever it is, I'm like, perfect, good. This is not a bad thing. This is great that you have the awareness because now we can change this. And so where we go from there is then I kind of use this interpretation like a bridge. Like if you're at point A, so there's never enough, and you want to get to point B where you believe that, I call it the universe. So I'll just say like, the universe, God, whatever you believe in supports me. There's an overflow of abundance in my life. There is always enough. If you're going from point A to point B, well, you can do things like affirmations or mantras, or just kind of like, I call it like almost like teasing the belief. So if you believe there's never enough, you can kind of tease it like, well, what if there was enough? what if today I had a little bit extra? And you can kind of just play with it on a small scale. Like if you get $5 extra today from whatever, you save $5 on something you're going to buy, or somebody gives you $5, or somebody pays for your lunch. Look, there is a little extra enough here today, right? Just starting to tease the old belief. But this is the biggest thing that happens. This is on this bridge, if you will, from A to B. We're going across this bridge and we're walking along, and then bam, something happens where you have the opportunity to either go back to A or keep on moving forward to B. So what I mean by that is, let's say you get actually I had this happen with a real client of mine. She got an increase in pay in her income, and very next day her car breaks down. So she writes me saying, "Oh my God, Emily, my car broke down. See, I knew it. There's never enough. I'm always I'm always getting behind my money." I said, what if we can change this right now? What if the fact that you did just get more money, through your work, now shows that the universe is supporting you, that it is trying to make sure that there is enough there for you? And what if we can just say, my car broke down. It's going to cost X amount, $1,500, $500, whatever. And now I'm going to decide here and choose here now that I'm going to be supported on this, and know that money does support me, and that there is always more than enough. And so it's just playing with it. And at first you might not believe it. You might be like, this is total bull. And I don't, but that's where the strength and the new muscle begins. Like, I like to use the analogy, if you go to the gym for the first time in your whole life and you're doing weights and that kind of stuff, you're going to be sore the next day. You're going to feel the pain, right?
And I'm sure there are listeners out there now who are taking this in and loving it, but there are also listeners out there who are saying just what you said, this is bull. Mm-hmm. And when you say that, that's a belief.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
That's a limiting belief.
Yeah.
Because if you think that, then you'll never give it an opportunity to work for you.
Yeah. And what I like to say is, life, every day when we wake up, it's just a story that we get to make up every single day, which might seem like this, I don't know, trippy concept or whatever have you, but really, like, we are not seeing reality for what it is. We are seeing a perception of our reality. We can't possibly take in every single sound observation in our day. Our brain has to filter our experience. So I like to think of it like, if you have this filter of there's never enough, it is like a pair of sunglasses that you just put on, and now you are observing your world through that lens. And there's a real simple example, I love it, that Tony Robbins uses, who, he gives, I'll just give it to you for 30 seconds here. I'd like you, now if you're driving, don't do this, but if you're sitting down and you can do this, do it. Just look around the room right now and observe anything that is blue. Take note of anything that's blue in your environment. Just look around you, notice anything that's blue. Okay, good. Now close your eyes, and I'd like you to recall anything that was red.
Well, it's basically, like Emily says, your reticular activating system. When you're looking for something, you'll find it.
Yeah.
And the things that you don't look for, you'll never find it. Because that's the way it works. Did you see the video on YouTube where they had four people in white and four people in black?
No.
And they said, count, and this is the perfect example of awareness. They said to the team in white, they said to the people, count how many times they passed the basketball back and forth, the team in white.
Yeah.
So you're so focused on counting, and I do this, and the people in black, but you don't focus on the people in black, you focus on the people in white.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they said, how many, did you get 13? And it was 13.
Yeah.
But then they said, did you see the moonwalking bear?
Oh, yeah. That's how
And they rewind it, and a moonwalking bear comes walking right through, and everyone misses it. A room of 500 people, nobody sees it. And
Yeah.
I say, there you go. That's an exact example of what you're talking about, is
Yeah.
awareness.
Yeah. And so if we want to say it's bull of there's never enough, so be it. But it's your life, so it's like, you know what? And like I said, kind of playing with it and teasing with it. Okay, I'm still feeling like there's not enough. Like, but you know what? Today I'm just gonna kind of give myself that permission to feel a little more free around this. And just,
What have you got to lose?
Exactly. Yeah. What have I got to lose in just trying, just applying this belief of I am supported today, right? Like, the universe is looking out for me. Whatever the belief is that you need to switch around or would like to switch around.
Because beliefs are choices,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you don't like a belief that you have, change it.
Yeah. And like, I've just seen time and time and time again of people switching these around, and then it can be as short as an hour, or I mean, even a minute, or days or weeks, but whatever. But I have clients coming back to me being like, oh my God, Emily, I used to have such a bad relationship with money, and now it's just transformed. I love money, and money loves me. And it's just like, the big thing with this is being kind to yourself. If it doesn't work out one day, and let's say you're like, you're a great student here, so to speak, and you try to apply these things starting right now, and then you go out and something bad happens, right? Or seemingly bad happens. Just be kind to yourself and, get up tomorrow with that same attitude of like, I love the mantra. I get up in the morning and I say the mantra, I expect miracles today, right? I just love that because it just sets my day up for just expecting wonderful things, right? So if you're setting your day up with I expect miracles today, it just opens up the floodgates to abundance, to miracles, wonderful things happening. Yeah.
Emily, you talked about your $1 a day repayment plan, and I noticed you've got it on your Facebook page. So do you want to talk to us about that a little bit?
So it kind of happened by accident. And now stay with me, folks, because you might be thinking, well, I don't have this kind of money. But I'll tell you this story. So when we were paying off our line of credit, we got our statement from the bank at the end of the month. And I noticed that I had paid off $10,000 of debt in 1 month. And I was like, how the heck did I do this? And then I started to think about it, and it just like dropped into my head. And I was like, I need to share this with the world, with my audience. So I got on Facebook. It was kind of an impromptu Facebook Live, and I shared it, and it just went wild. So what it was, I'll break it down for you. So I call it the $1 a day repayment method. And now, just as a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Like, this is more so from a mindset kind of side of things. So do what you will with this. But here's how it happened was, now $1 a day, there's 365 days in the year. That ain't going to break the bank if you got a $10,000 loan. I get it. But here's the thing. First of all, with debt, so many people ignore it. I cannot tell you how many clients I've worked with who are like, I don't know what's in there. I don't want to look at it. I'm just hoping that one day I wake up and it's just magically gone. And I'm sorry to say, but that's not the way that debt works. Ignorance is not bliss when it comes to your debt. So there becomes this shame and this fear and a lot of guilt around it, of people saying I shouldn't have spent money on that and I'm such a terrible person. It just getting back to the emotional and mindset kind of thing, it's just a lot of heaviness around it. And I'm here to help people just lighten up around money, just make it normal. Because listen, I've worked with people who have had, as small as like $5,000 of debt, and I've worked with people who have had as much as $100,000 of debt. And the amount of guilt and shame and heaviness is the same across the board, no matter what the number is. But each person thinks that they're like, the world's worst because of what they're into in terms of debt. So this $1 a day, essentially what I did was every single day, I was at least applying $1 to my debt. And so here's how this works. So what happens is most of us this might be an assumption here, but some of us have kind of the set it and forget it method around our debt. For example, a student loan, you might go to the bank or whatever financial institution, they might say, okay, your student loan is, $20,000, you do $300 a month for the next however many years, and it'll be paid off. Okay, good. That becomes almost like a bill for you. $300 a month, good. So it's to set it and forget it. But what happens is when we have a surplus of money come in, most people, generally speaking here, are like, woohoo, I got extra money. And then as we make more, what happens is we spend more. So if you get a bonus check from work, if you get a tax receipt or tax money back from the tax man, that's nice when that happens, or what have you, we spend it. And so this $1 a day gets you into the mode of receiving money. So what I mean by that is it's kind of from a law of attraction point of view. I won't get into that now. That'll be a whole other segment. But law of attraction point of view is what you bring awareness to. You start to attract more of that into your life. So this actually happened to me. So one day, now we had sold a house 3-4 years ago at this time. And I got an email from the lawyer's office saying, Emily, we just noticed that we actually owe you a credit of $57.50. Perfect. Send the check my way. So I got this check in the mail for $57.50. Now, because I'm doing this $1 a day method, I'm looking at any surplus and saying, where can I apply this? Where can I add this to my debt? Instead of the set it and forget it, the debt's taken care of, I'm proactively showing up to do the work. So I get this check and I say, perfect, that's going on my debt. You know, you save, I was on this real kick one time calling Bell and all sorts of bills and seeing where I could save a bit of money. If I saved $100 on a bill, perfect, that $100 is going on my debt. So you're actively paying attention to the surplus of money that comes into your life. And it really, getting back to the mindset thing, it really shifts your perception of money, because so many of us are in the lack mentality of there's never enough, I don't have any extra to put on my debt. But this really brings you into the awareness of, even if it's $5 a day that you get extra, perfect, apply it. And it creates what I call the Visa bill effect. So I don't know about you guys, but have you ever gotten a Visa bill or a MasterCard bill or whatever the credit card is that you have, and you go, how do all these things add up to X amount, right? You're like, because I got a Visa bill one time, I was like, no way. Like I was like, no way did that $10 thing and that $50 thing, that $2 thing at Tim Hortons, no way did all these things add up to thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm like, and I literally got out a calculator. I was like, I don't believe the Visa man.
The Visa man.
Right? So and sure enough, it worked. I forget what the bill was now. It was a few thousand. And I was like, okay, it's right. And so I got to thinking, if these small, seemingly like insignificant purchases add up to thousands, what if we could flip that and apply it to paying off debt? So the seemingly $2 here, the $5 there, the 50, you know, in my case, the $57.50. These things add up over time and have this exponential effect where we come to realize, like, I'll share a testimony here now. A client reached out to me, and I loved hearing this because she was a new single mom with a newborn, and she wrote me, she had watched my video, and she said, Emily, I just had to reach out to you because, you know, I'm a new mom, and obviously, you know, having money and being able to support her child is hugely important. And she said, I applied your method this past month, and I completely paid off my credit card. And it was just so heartwarming to know that she had that taken care of, now, you know, stepping into this new phase of her life. So it was just so heartwarming. So from different angles here, we got the mindset thing of now, like I said earlier, debt is such a heavy thing for so many people. So we are stepping into the space of, you know what, I'm going to control my money. I'm no longer going to hide behind this wall of shame and guilt and I'm a terrible person. Now we're stepping out and we're saying, you know what, debt, you and I are going to become friends here. Now I'm going to look at you every single day. And so from this emotional feeling point of view, we start to lighten this feeling around our debt, and we start to peel away the shame and the guilt and all that kind of stuff, and we start to bring some forgiveness into it, which is a huge part for people. This forgiveness and this self-love around our money, which might sound weird to some people, but money really is a relationship. You want to view it as a relationship, and like a romantic partner that you want to be in a loving relationship with. So if you're not talking to your romantic partner for months, years on end, you probably want to talk to them. So we're now in this relationship with debt where we're looking at it every single day. And even if initially it brings up a whole lot of emotions and negative stuff, that's okay. Just tell yourself, like, I forgive myself. And getting back to the mindset stuff, bring in affirmations of you know, something like, I'm getting better and better at this every single day. I'm taking control of my money. I'm finally overcoming my debt. I am on a path to greater abundance. You know, bringing in stuff like this. So we start to shift our relationship around money. We start to shift the feelings around it. And then from a practical point of view, we are literally paying it down. And going back to that Visa bill effect, you know, I've even had people write me, we often acknowledge, and we often, because we're looking at it, we also are aware of what I call money leaks. So whether it be bills that you've been paying, you're like, I didn't know I was subscribed to this thing and I can cut that, or if there's an insurance that you've paid for. But this is a cool thing. I had a woman one time who lost her job due to health. And she had been paying, I think it was like less than $20 a month that she was paying to her credit card company for this insurance, for if you lost your job or had health issues or what have you, and they would pay your Visa bill in full. Mm-hmm. I believe, now I might be slightly wrong on that, but that's my understanding. And this woman wrote me to say, Emily, I started looking at my Visa bill after applying this, and I realized I had been paying this insurance, and I lost my job a few months ago, and I owed, I think it was like $7,000 or $8,000 to her Visa bill. And she said, I called up my credit card company, I told them what happened, and long story short, they completely erased or paid off her Visa bill from her just having this awareness now around her money. Instead of just avoiding it and hoping it goes away and just paying the minimum fee that, you know, they want each month, she now is bringing awareness to it, looking at it and recognizing, I have this insurance. And just like that, it was like $7-8 grand gone, just like that.
Because some people will hold all their credit card bills, and at the end of the month they'll tick them off and tick them off. Other people will just pay it and
Yep.
not even look at what's going on. Can you leave our listeners with a little tidbit that they can use right now? And of course, I know people are going to want to get in touch with you, right? Because how many people are out there going, I need to talk to Emily King. I need to
Yeah.
get my finances straightened out. So what can you leave us, our listeners with?
Oh, good final question. I would like to leave them with this, is that they are far more powerful and far more resourceful than they give themselves credit for. So just know that things can change no matter where you are. Maybe you're in a great position and maybe you just want to, grow that, go for it. But just bring some light and love to your money and just some kindness and forgiveness to yourself around it. And some amazing things can happen when you just take the judgment, all that stuff off of it, and just give yourself that space to say, I'm going to change this. And I'm improving this right now.
Excellent, Emily. Thanks very much for taking the time to enrich our lives.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That's it for this week, everybody. We'll be back next week with another interesting guest.